Hello and welcome back to the Rudimentary podcast, the podcast where we take the basic things and make them difficult to understand. That's right. We're here to do that for you. This is episode number 7. And joining me, as always, are there. For those of you that needed a little bit of a unaudible help, that would be 7. 7 Costanza. For- he was so happy with that name. 7.
Yep. Didn't have to say it at all. He just.
Susan, on the other hand, was not as impressed
Not
with.
a fan. Not a fan.
Oh, and then when he found out that somebody took his name,
Oh, George is getting upset.
Yep. Highly upset.
Oh, we're back. We're happy to be here at number 7. I'm just here so I won't get fined. We're gonna bring in the two main focal points of this podcast, the debaters, if you will, the contrast, the yin and the yang. We're gonna start over there on the West Coast. Funkel. We had some audio issues last time, but you're back. You're sounding better than ever. How do you feel?
Good. I'm feeling, if I'm sounding better than ever, I'm feeling better than ever. So thank you. Thank you for that. Fresh off an acai bowl. So I'm feeling good, looking good.
Eating
Oh, that's
good.
2 weeks in a row, isn't it? With
That-
the acai bowl.
It's like every day anymore. They
All
are
right.
delicious. So
All right.
getting plenty of antioxidants. What
You look like it.
antioxidants?
Yeah, you look like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought there was something like a glow. You have
That's
a glow.
what it is. The cells that I'm eating are breathing. So
Right. All right. Antioxidizing right before your eyes.
No one has time for oxidants.
No.
That's
I myself am antioxidant.
yeah.
you're an acai bowl.
Yeah, I don't want to get political, but I am antioxidant.
Yep. And this is where we differ.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But we
Look
can
at-
still be on the same show.
Here we go.
Podcast can bring people together from all sides. You've already heard a little bit from him. Andy, how are things going in your neck of the woods now that you've established your firm political position?
Well, things are going pretty well. It's things at the house are going a little better, a little easier with the WNBA All-Star break and Olympic break happening here for the next month because I don't have to tell Colleen that can't do that tonight. Got a W game on. So yeah, as much as CC needed the break, I needed the break to go ahead and regroup for the last 14 games here at the about 14 games when they get back. But yeah, Paris Olympics opening ceremonies today.
That's right. Torchbearer extraordinaire.
Snoop
Anybody?
Dogg
There he is.
Yep.
Snoop Dogg, the torchbearer.
carrying the torch. The
Carrying
only
the
thing better,
torch?
yeah, he was
He was-
carrying the torch. I don't know. The only thing better would have been if he would have lit a spliff off the Olympic torch.
I'm sure there was conversations about that.
Telling him not to do it.
Yeah.
I don't. Can you smoke? Can you smoke in Paris?
I'm
I don't know what's the rule there.
not sure.
I
I
don't
know
know.
Amsterdam.
Why don't we send you to Paris and you can find out?
Roving reporter.
Yes.
What's the budget? What's the travel budget here?
We'll get you to the end of the road.
How far away is Paris, Texas? I don't.
Yeah.
I've got a buddy that lives in Paris, Tennessee.
Hey, there it
We-
is.
Yep.
That's Or's
Come on,
joke.
do it. In
Whenever you
case-
say anything about French, he's just like, we. That guy.
we.
What else is there?
That's all you need. Let's be honest.
Uh-huh.
For those of you curious, the WNBA may or may not be talked about on this episode.
Why they're not playing?
That's right.
Right?
So why would we talk about? That's a great call, Snakes.
Thank you.
So we probably won't. We probably won't even talk about them. We're going to start off the show by introducing some breaking news. So before the show in our pre-plan, I had everything laid out, or pretty much for the most part, and then I had to stop everything because
Does that answer your question about our production value?
Yeah. Yes, it
Travel
does.
expenses and
Yes.
production value through the
we
roof.
we had huge news. So breaking news, apparently the Packers had nothing but love for Jordan Love. And I say that because shortly before we taped the show, Jordan Love, it was announced, signed a 4-year, $220 million contract. For those of you non-football fans, or those of you not sure, it's the richest contract in NFL history. I'm sure it'll be passed next week, but for right now, it's the richest contract in NFL history. And so I wanted to take a minute. Andy, you and I and our buddy Ort talked about it on a FaceTime call before the show. I saw the news and I wanted to make sure I called you and Ort. And you guys, who are hardly ever in sync, you guys agreed. But tell us, tell the fans out there
Tell me
your
why
thoughts on
you're
it.
in sync.
Or Backstreet Boy, or 98,
Was it? I'm sorry.
98
Tell
degrees.
us why.
There it was. Production value knows no limits.
None.
Andy, your thoughts on the announcement of this contract?
First off, congratulations to Jordan Love for being able to squeeze that kind of money out. You can't hate the player, you can hate the game. And the guy got his.
Yeah.
Is that guy worth that money? No. 100% not. Of the quarterbacks playing today, if there was one contract and you had to spend that money, Patrick Mahomes gets that contract, and that's
Yep.
the only guy getting that contract. I hope this cripples Green Bay for years. I hope they never see the playoffs again. I hope they fold as a franchise, and I hope all their stockholders lose everything. So
You're
I
talking
hate.
about the entire state of Wisconsin.
Yes. Yep.
Get out.
Yeah. There's.
Get
if
out.
you wear foam cheese on your head, you deserve to lose your franchise.
Yeah.
So,
There it is.
yeah, I don't
No
know.
Gouda. That's no Gouda.
Wow.
I don't understand it. For anybody who enjoys going to NFL games in person, enjoy paying 10-20% more here in the coming years for those tickets, to go ahead and pay these guys that have done nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing in the league yet. And so somebody who has done something in the league is looking at these contracts and thinking, well, if that guy's getting this,
Yeah.
you know, it's all ego, right? Jordan Love gets that, Trevor Lawrence, these guys who've accomplished, nothing at the NFL level, and getting that is just going to go ahead and, the next guy has to get the $1 more than the previous guy. And it's out of control.
Well, there's some sage advice out there, and it says that comparison is the thief of joy. So,
Wow.
chew
Yeah,
on that.
well-
That is like trying to keep up with the Joneses. It's not going to work for you.
Our deep thought segment is usually later, but Funkel bringing already early.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't take kindly to theft of his joy.
That's right.
Don't you dare.
Nope.
Don't even.
Funkel, moving over to you.
Yep.
You're a sports fan, maybe not as avid, especially in football, as our buddy Ort.
Yep.
But when you heard this and you knew about it as we were talking in pre-show about it, you were aware of the contract. What were your thoughts on this, on Jordan Love's contract?
I just kind of shook my head about it. I mean, he's such a young quarterback that has proven really nothing. So it's been wild to see like a contract, and we didn't say about how much is guaranteed. We're not sure about the details of that, but for something like that, unproven, and did he make the playoffs like once in his career so far?
I think
Yes.
he's
Um, yeah, that's it, once.
Yep. And he beat Dallas Cowboys team last year in the playoffs.
that doesn't count.
That
No.
our buddy Ort is a Dallas Cowboy fan, and he knows that doesn't count.
Yeah,
He
he even
basically
said that.
said that.
A bad team.
Yeah, but what, like you said, it's gonna this highest contract is gonna last about a week because Dak is gonna want his for
Oh
sure.
yeah, yeah.
So
Dallas
uh,
hating the timing of this announcement.
yeah, so
And
that is it. Uncle Jerry is gonna have a problem with it.
please,
Yeah,
please let it happen soon, and let it be that Dak stays with the Cowboys for 56 to 60 million. That
Yes.
might be the time that we have to bring our friend Ort onto the show and just
Yeah.
talk
No, I would agree. And
about it.
that's gonna be prime content right there.
Yes.
yeah,
Get your
Get-
popcorn ready, folks.
and get that bleep button ready.
In pre-show, we'll just listen. You can't. I can't keep up with you. I can't hit for those of you wondering, Jordan Love's career stats. In 2021, he had 411 passing yards. In 2022, he had 195 passing yards. And then last year, he did start. He had 4,159 passing yards, good for 7th in the NFL, 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, a completion percentage of 64.2%. That would put him, let's see, top 10 completion percentage, top 5 touchdowns. So, hey, it was a good year, but highest contract ever. And Andy, we talked about this. We talked about Mahomes taking a 10-year deal, and the first majority of those years were team friendly. And it shows the guys that want to win. And, when I was 20 when Peyton got drafted, but you saw that between him and Brady. You saw these guys take less every contract renewal to keep guys. And New England chose to do it differently. They would stack the defense with the money they were saving because, they would bring in guys like Wes Welker or Danny Amendola or, those guys because they knew what they had in Brady.
Yeah, concussion sponges.
Austin Collie.
Yep.
Hey, go over the middle. Okay.
He still doesn't remember his name.
What does that question for you guys? Would that make you guys want to play more for that team when you see a guy taking a 10-year deal, which is unheard of in the NFL to begin with, but realizing the majority of it, especially up front, with all the back end options to get out of it or restructure whatever, shouldn't that set a precedent, or would that set a precedent for you guys of wanting to stay with that team like a Travis Kelce has? Chris Jones on the defensive side of things. Andy, start with you.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on where guys are in their career. It seems to be what you see is after the rookie deal, that's when guys want their money. They're young, and then after that second deal, it'll be interesting with Dak to see how things are structured, because that's usually when you see these guys start to say, "Okay, I need to win now." And I've made some money, and I will take a pay cut here to bring people in. But I think what it amounts to is, the guys that are coming in there and wanting to play with a Patrick Mahomes or something like that aren't the unless they're drafted, they're not typically the young guys. They're the guys that free agents that are like, okay, it's time for me. I want to win, and this gives me my best chance. But these guys are also leaving money on the table for other guys, Mahomes or the Brady contract or the Manning contract. So, and if you're a wide receiver, who doesn't want to play with one of those guys?
Absolutely.
Right.
You think back to Randy Moss at the end of his career.
Yep.
Who did he partner up with? Brady.
Yep.
He
Career
worked
year.
Yep.
But Eli said no.
Oh,
Hall,
Eli.
future Hall of Famer
Eli Manning.
Eli Manning.
Yep.
We might go live from Canton during that ceremony. For those of you that don't know, which is many of you, we had a bet with our good buddy Josh Ort, where he, and I quote, "If Eli gets into the Hall of Fame, I'll wear an Eli jersey to the ceremony myself."
Yep.
And
And it's happening. It will happen.
oh yeah,
Is that why you were asking about the travel budget for
Yeah.
for the show?
Oh, that one will happen. That's not too far from Indiana. So
Yeah.
yeah, that one's gonna happen. But yeah, he's and I do want to say to everybody that Josh Ort is an actual person. This isn't the he's and until he shows up, he's the Bob Sacamano of the show.
Bob
Yeah.
You know,
I remember Bob's in Sacramento.
Yep.
Wasn't
how
that
come I never
Kramer's
see
roommate?
any of your? How come I never see any of your friends?
Yeah.
They want to know how come they've never met you.
Funkel, over to you.
Yeah.
With a quarterback taking less, would that, as a player, would that make you want to stay with him if your contract's expiring?
Yeah, because to me, he would have his priorities straight. He's trying to, from my experience, when it comes to like sports and everything, business and sports usually didn't go hand in hand. You just wanted to not think about it and just worry about playing and winning. And so if you get a long-term deal like that for 10 years, you don't have to worry about the business aspect. You just go out there and play and try to win. And I think a lot of people want that. And it's not just about the business. So we lock up a long-term deal and I don't have to worry about any of that. I'm reassured, I'm living comfortably, and I'm just concentrating on the one thing that I do is play ball.
And do it very
That's,
well.
thank you. I do.
You with Mahomes, Kelsey, I think has stayed, maybe another year, looking to get one more title. And Mahomes staying in a small market like Kansas City, I think that's huge. And that just goes to show. I mean, he could have gotten paid anywhere. He had his success already in Kansas City, but that partnership of him and Andy Reid, just it's ridiculous. Andy and I talked about it. Andy has him as already the second greatest quarterback in NFL history. I probably have him at 3, maybe nostalgia's sake. But yeah, he's already a top 3 quarterback to a lot of people. But more importantly, to 2 of the guys on this show, which is more important than those other people. Funkel, on the spot.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, what number all time?
I would say, you said 2, Rude? Putting him ahead of Montana?
Yeah. Yep.
This is where
And
this is
not based on hardware.
No,
what, 3?
I just there's 2 guys that I think in the way the game. I don't know. I've seen Mahomes have those video game numbers.
Yeah.
But I've also seen that dude with ice in his veins.
Yeah.
It's kind of the best of both worlds for me. Back when Montana played, no knock against him, the dude was a winner. You didn't want the ball in that dude's hands at the end.
Right.
But even with the West Coast offense, they weren't asking the quarterback to do what the quarterbacks do these days.
Mm-hmm.
And Mahomes just, I don't know, man. He invents throws.
Yeah.
On the way these underhand things, it's crazy.
No look.
Yeah. I've never seen anything like this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. You're right. I didn't really think about it in that context, but until we're talking about it right now. And I mean, that's pretty convincing. He does do some pretty incredible things. It's hard to go against like Montana, who is the best ever for years.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't be wrong flip-flopping those guys. I don't think there's anybody out there that doesn't think that Brady's won.
Yeah, well,
at least for me.
If they do,
I
they're
don't know
wrong.
how you could argue with that.
Yeah.
I mean, you just look at the numbers. Hasn't he been in like 12% of all Super Bowls?
Like won 12% of them.
Oh, it's even higher than that then.
Yeah.
That's so bizarre to me. But there are people that would say that just to be argumentative.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it. I hated Brady, because I'd watch the
We
Colts a
all
lot.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but as he's getting up to 5, 6,
Yeah.
7 Super Bowls. I'm rooting for the guy at that point because I'm like, this is just greatness.
Yeah, we witnessed it like change. Like it
Mhm.
went from like hating that dude and playing because we were all out of Indiana and we were meeting up and watching the playoff games and like hold on to the ball, Reggie, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was great to be alive to see those two going back and forth,
Yep.
Peyton and Brady,
Mhm.
and it was great, and it always hated him, but there was a turning point. It's like this dude is just good, and I can't remember. I couldn't put my finger on when that turn was, but there was still plenty of people out there hating on the fact that he was like going to Super Bowls and winning so many, and then when he went down to Tampa Bay and won one with them, I mean, that just solidified it right there. It's like, all right, Bill, sorry,
Yep.
you aren't the greatest coach. You had the greatest
Yeah.
player of all time.
Agreed. 100%. That's what that did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it goes back to some of the things that we've talked about with, I mean, people, sports fans, and me as a sports fan, I'm drawn to greatness. And, in
That's why you're on
teams,
this podcast. You're
yeah,
drawn
well,
to us.
I
Yep.
felt it.
Yep.
I felt greatness, and I was
Felt the
right.
presence in the force, and you
Yeah.
got it.
Um, I was a Bulls fan, but I was a Bulls fan because of Michael Jordan.
Yep.
And, whatever kind of fan that is, I mean, it's just, um, the greatness. Um, you know,
You ready for the
the
transition, Trav? He's going to feed this back to Caitlin, and we'll go to our next subject. Go ahead.
Wow. The prediction. Take it away, Andy.
he's not wrong. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. But I think that's what brought everybody to Brady there. After everybody
28.
watched him so long, and then you're seeing the guy turn 40 years old and still dominating.
Yeah.
Look up who was it Plunkett for the Raiders? Jim Plunkett.
Jim Plunkett?
Did he play for the Raiders?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Won 2 Super
Look up
Bowls
a
with them.
picture of Jim Plunkett at 40 years old,
Oh my
and
gosh.
then look up a picture of Tom Brady at 40 years old. Plunkett looked like he was 60. You know, and
well, they were burning heaters every break.
On the
they looked
sideline.
like it. They looked
Huddle
like
up,
it.
boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They were the
But,
best of times. You ever see Best of Times?
Yep.
Kurt Russell, Robin
And
Williams.
Robin Williams. Let's
Yeah.
play some football. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. But
I think
speaking of the best of times,
Uh-huh.
Caitlin Clark. Greatness.
there it is.
Great.
Hit it.
And we're moving right along. So moving on to the next topic, our buddy Ort, who's a real person, has talked about this idea for a while, and we're just going to touch on this idea because I thought it was interesting. When you talk about Tua signing 4 years, $212.5 million just last week, Jordan Love 4 years, $220 million this week, next week, Nets man up. Our buddy's been on this point for a while. Is the NFL has to do something as the contracts continue to get out of control and out of control. And one idea he's thrown out is capping the quarterback contracts, or switching to something like the NBA does. You can have a number of supermax contracts and then max contracts. But he's really into this idea of capping just the quarterback contracts. He was a huge fan, and as much as I hate to give him credit, well, as much as any of us hate to give him credit for anything, he was a big proponent of a rookie salary cap. And that dude's smile when that happened, it pained me. But he was loving life when they announced that there'd be a rookie salary cap, because he had talked about it for a couple years prior. But what are your thoughts? Funk, we've started with Andy. What are your thoughts on the idea of the NFL capping quarterback contracts only?
Well, are they capping how much the owner is going to make on any of these things? No. So no, they shouldn't be capping any of the players. Let the players make whatever their market value says to them. What do you think of that?
Look at that. He was ready for it. Why don't we throw it on over to Andy, quarterbacks?
There we go. I get
All right,
it.
Andy.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I think something's got to be done because these guys are headed towards $500 million paydays, and they're like a shoulder away. It just I don't know. I mean, they're worth the most to the team, so you could argue that. That's most important position probably in all of sports is the NFL quarterback. So there's that argument too. I would be more in favor of a contract like that. You know, I don't know. You could Love hit that contract in how many years?
4.
This is it'll be year 5, but yeah, he's in
Yeah.
this coming year. He'll be his 4th year.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the answer is, but
And last year was the first year he started the whole season, right? So he
Yeah.
really is just 1 year.
It's
yeah, it shows you the perceived importance of that position.
Yeah.
Green Bay thinks they've got their guy. But man, boy, a swing and a miss on that. Ouch. If that turns out, and we were talking earlier, at the end of this season, there could be a possibility that he could be third best in that division.
Yeah.
There's a lot of quarterback competition in that division right now. If Williams has a halfway decent year and the Lions perform, I mean, that's a lot of money to give somebody who might not be the top quarterback in the division.
yes,
Yeah.
I agree. That's a very good point, and I'm not in favor of capping it because for me, what I talked to Ort about is you would have to go to the players union themselves, all the players, and you'd have to tell them, yes, there's only 64 quarterbacks, 92, whatever, between first, second string, and you'd have to tell these guys, hey, we're gonna vote on you getting a limited amount of money. Yes, it'll be more than anyone else makes, but trust us, this is better for everybody else in the room. So you guys will just have to take a little bit less, and it's never fun.
So look at the importance last year with the Jets. They signed Aaron Rodgers. He lasts how long? One
The
series
run out
of
of the
plays.
tunnel.
Snaps, maybe.
Yeah, the run out of the tunnel. 3 plays, 1 pass play, ruptured Achilles, and he's out for the year. Guaranteed money. And the Jets were scrambling. Eh? Jets
I
were scrambling. And they didn't have anything. The season was lost on their first offensive possession.
So you're telling me that they did not have Willard and Simpkin on alert 5?
No, they were not ready.
That's correct. They were not.
And their season was over in 2 minutes.
Yeah. And how much money did they lose on that when they didn't have something set up for a backup?
Yep.
So that shows you the importance of that. So they probably lost hundreds of millions of dollars on merchandise. If they went to the playoffs in a New York market, they would have. And Aaron Rodgers was the savior that came in. They would have made so much money off of that if they got into the playoffs, but they didn't, and it went the other way. And Aaron Rodgers still got his guaranteed money.
Yes, and was still able to go to wherever he went.
Yep, and the Jets fans remain fans of that team. I mean, who's suffered more than Jets fans? They always think it's their year. They get the big quarterback, and then 2 minutes in, half that stadium's wearing Rodgers jerseys.
Yep.
And they got to sit there and eat the rest of that season.
Listen to that laugh.
This guy is loving it.
The Jets are paying for it. You eat it.
You eat it.
Well, we are done with football for now.
Okay.
We're going to take it over. We're going to switch topics over to the entertainment side of things. And want to talk about A Match Made in Heaven, one of the most highly anticipated movies in a while. Deadpool and Wolverine. Uh, for all honesty's sake, I will be seeing it tomorrow. I have not seen it yet because I wanted to see it with my family. Andy,
Yeah, good
same
family
way.
film.
Yes, yes, especially when you have two sons who love the first two, and yeah, they're excited. But Andy, same way, hasn't seen it just yet. So we're gonna turn it over to our resident movie expert,
Hey,
this guy. No
yeah,
spoilers. No
no
spoilers.
spoilers. I don't like it when people spoil my good time, so I'm not gonna do that to them.
All right. Well, let's hear
No
it.
thieving of your joy.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody's robbing me of joy. Um, yeah, I saw it last night, and I, I mean, a movie like this, like Rude, you were saying, this is the only Marvel movie this year. So it's it's a big one. They're putting all their eggs in this year's basket, and I think it was money well spent.
All right.
Because I like to do it big, and so I went to the Prime Theater, which is kind of like the IMAX, but you got the full recliner, you got the vibrating seat, which I know you love, Rude. And so went the full tilt boogie, and I had a great time. And I don't want to get into any of the cameos or the things that are happening, but I will say that as I was telling you guys before, it felt like it was almost like the largest budget parody movie because of all like the inside that so many fans follow. I mean, Rude, you're looking up, and Trav, you're the same way. You guys are looking up like what's being said about movies when they're coming out, and oh, this is going over the Fox, and Fox doesn't have the rights, so they don't have Spider-Man and all these kind of things. So the true fan gets all that stuff, and they're able to poke fun at it in the movie, as like Trav, your favorite joke was tell your favorite joke about which X.
When Colossus is dragging Deadpool to the house,
Yeah.
he says, "Come on, Wade, we're going to see Professor Xavier." And Deadpool says, "Which one, McAvoy or Stewart?" And
See, that's the best.
Yep.
So it's like riddled with things like that. So all the insider baseball guys and girls will be able to get that and love it. So I had a heck of a time, and as I was telling you guys that I was laughing enough that I'll see it again just to fill in the gaps from what I missed. So
Excellent.
yeah,
Great review. No
thanks, man.
spoilers.
No
that's a
spoilers.
solid
Good
review
time
without
though.
giving
And yeah,
anything.
and for those of you who are new to the show or don't quite uh know us well enough, 6 episodes into the seventh here. Um if Funkle is not a fan of a film, he'll let you know. So this isn't just glossing over because it's a big summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
You know, he'll give you the skinny on it.
Yeah. I'll try not to give any details, but you can read it on the face when I eat a turd burger.
That's a solid reference.
Yeah, so yeah, that's great. I mean, if this is a reverse review scale, then this would be 0 would be good on the turd burger scale. So
Right.
you're gonna rate Deadpool and Wolverine a
Yeah,
0 on the turd burger
that's
scale.
correct. You nailed it.
Wow, that is a ringing endorsement for this film.
A
Yes,
big old
0
ring.
turd burgers.
Yeah, an
Yep.
O-ring for
just
sure.
because of that statement right there. Andy, since you haven't seen it yet,
Hmm.
obviously we've seen the trailers that are out, and there's great parts in the trailer as well as there should be. But where would you say your anticipation of this movie is?
Based on the
Or
trailer.
based on the trailer, or even when you found out that it came out, did it vary? That's a good point. Did it vary from when you first heard, the Twitter leaks of, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman's Twitter pages, and when it was announced,
Hmm.
to when you saw the first trailers? Did your anticipation vary, or did it stay the same?
Oh, um I was pumped because it'd been a while since the last Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
Which I think the thing with Deadpool is the fact that it's the franchise is in the right hands. You know, you didn't. The whole reason the movie got made is primarily Ryan Reynolds, and you know, with his pushing behind the scenes of it, his love of the character,
Yeah.
uh, you know, his involvement as a whole, and he's a perfect fit for that character, and so um, I really here in the last I don't know 2 weeks, week and a half, uh, my excitement for it kind of went off the charts a little bit with the release of the last trailer,
Mm.
and because it you know it was tonally different. It had still had humor in it, but
Yeah.
had some you know the more again I haven't seen the film, but in the trailer it was more of an emotional trailer
Mm.
in it with you know, and what got me the most hyped, and I'm surprised they showed it in the trailer, was X-23 in the trailer. You know, because Daphne Keene, not that she would have, she didn't go all Tom Holland and ruin anything, but is long denied in interviews here throughout the Acolyte press conferences that she is not in the film, but looking forward to seeing it.
Mm.
So, yeah, I would say, uh, you know, throughout most of Marvel's films and Sony's version of Marvel, Sony Studios Marvel Productions, the X-Men, Wolverine, um, Deadpool, and Venom, those movies mixed with the Marvel films themselves, you know, her performance as Lara or X-23 and Logan is still one of my favorites. Um, really a visceral performance, especially from somebody that young. So yeah, I was most pumped when I saw her pop up in the trailer.
And I think for myself, uh, being a huge Disney fan, things like that, I think it's a great entry into it because you heard a lot about it being an R-rated movie, it'd be an R-rated Disney movie, you know, and things like that. And I think that got people as well wanting to see it as well. What would Disney do with Deadpool? And you know, there were some jokes made about that. You know, Ryan Reynolds would mention that on Twitter and things like that. And like you said, Andy, Ryan Reynolds has marketed this amazingly throughout the three movies, the trilogy. He's I can't think of you know a better part suited for a guy who just seems just as funny on a regular day to day, just by his Twitter, Instagram, things like that that he's on, and it just gets me excited to see where this goes. But also, dude, the interactions between Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds
Yeah.
on you know outside the movie obviously are just amazing. I love those two when they talk, when they meet, when they're in interviews. It's everything is geared up for this moment, and I really hope it lives up to the hype.
Yeah, it sounds like it sounds like it's going to.
Hopefully, I hope I didn't put that bar up a little bit higher, but
Hey,
I,
zero turd burgers. That
Yeah, zero that is yeah, I mean that's canon in our show. The first the first zero turd burger movie review
yep,
in
and I
history.
stand by it. I stand by it.
All right. No, I like it. I think it's great.
and we are moving right along. We're staying in the movies, and we're staying into living up to the hype. Uh, one movie in particular has turned the record books inside out. That's thank you,
There it is.
thank you.
Did
I'll
you
be
come
here
up with that, or
all
was that AI? Was that AI? Be honest.
maybe. No, it was all me. It was all up here, folks. Um,
Okay. Sure.
Inside Out, as you know from watching the show, I have been talking about it a couple episodes to see, being a huge Disney fan, to see if it would break the record, and it has. Inside Out 2 is now the highest grossing animated movie of all time, and as of this taping, is the 13th highest grossing movie of all time.
Jeez.
Uh, yeah, it, It passed Frozen. Frozen 2, sorry, made $1.453 billion. Inside Out 2, as of this taping, $1.466 billion. Has a little ways to go if it's going to catch Top Gun Maverick to take over 12th all time, but who cares? It's the highest grossing animated movie of all time. I wanted to briefly talk about Inside Out 2, whether you've seen the first one, the second one, either of them. This isn't your typical Disney movie. The first one wasn't. This one wasn't. It deals with real teen problems, kid problems, things like that, dealing with emotions, and dealing with things just going on. But were you surprised? And Andy, we started with Snake's last movie question. We'll start with you. Were you surprised, Andy, that a movie like this, I'll go like this, mean non-traditional Disney, no animals, no princesses,
Okay.
things like that. A movie,
No fairy
kind of,
tale.
yes, yes.
Yes.
It's
Yes, so guapo.
you guys.
You
Uh,
guys.
were you surprised, Andy, that it did so well? Not only for the first one, which was a surprise hit, but this one, which took over the record. Were you surprised that something like this did so well?
I'm surprised it's where it's at right now. Did I think it was going to do well? I thought it would do well based on the success of the first one. Established characters. Pixar usually, when they do a sequel, it usually lives up if the first one did well. As we talked about the Incredibles sequel, the Cars movies, the first one is a great film. The other ones, the characters kind of bring the kids in, this one, I think it was able to go ahead and build off the success of the first one and stayed relatively safe from a lot of the criticism that half of the population has thrown at Disney with the way that they've catered their stories to certain groups. And I think, that's what's hurt Disney. You hear these things about Disney used to be a family company and, for made family films and this kind of stuff. I think Inside Out 2 can stay away from a lot of the stuff that makes these other films right or wrong, or opinion wise, right or wrong, controversial. So I think by doing that, it stayed relatively insulated. There's also probably the biggest focus these days in our country, on mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, these are all subjects that, families are probably taking their kids to, that, maybe their kids, it helps them identify with it, emotions and whatnot, things that they may be experiencing. And I think that's where Disney's at its best, right? When it's doing that until, and I'll stick by that until Deadpool 2 shoots past Inside Out 2, and then we'll have to reevaluate what Disney's best at, because the R-rated murder machine that is Deadpool.
Yep.
Yes.
I don't know if
Mike-
Or's gonna like it.
What's that?
I don't know if Or's gonna like it.
Oh no.
that
Are they gonna make a black and white version that he can watch?
All
You
things
would
that
hope
you
so.
guys that aren't privy to our group will learn when Mr. Ord is on this show. Andy, you brought up one of the other criticisms recently on Disney. And those of you that know me, huge Disney fan, love Disney. But a lot of the criticism they've had recently is their original storytelling has gotten lost in a way. And so they're relying on sequels, to bring in money and to continue to maintain or recover from the just disaster last year was for box office. So you look
Right.
at Inside Out 2, Deadpool 2, or Deadpool 3, sorry. Then Moana 2 is coming out. And, that's another criticism that's being shown at Disney. They tried it last year with Wish, which did not do anywhere close to what they wish it would have.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry, I
did
couldn't
it.
find the
There it is.
button fast enough.
Did it.
But Funko, I want to move over to you. You watch obviously a ton of movies. We've talked about, the
Yep.
fact that you are very passionate about movies. So I'll throw the same question to you. Were you surprised that a movie like this from a company like Disney, which has had so much success in certain areas of the entertainment industry, were you surprised that a movie like this did well? And then more importantly, the second version of it, because some of the about the limited controversy about it, about some of the actors not coming back, some of the voice actors
Right.
not coming back. Were you surprised that it did this well?
Yeah, it really threw me for a loop for it to do, like you said, it's the highest grossing animated of all time. So yeah, that blew me away to hear that. And seeing both of them, they're both admirable movies, and I prefer the first one over the second one, but I'm also a old, like a middle-aged man, that doesn't feel like my emotionals and speak well to that, as you can tell right now. Um, so watching a movie that's dealing with each one of these emotions is not something that I'm usually comfortable with, and it seems like the younger generation is more comfortable about speaking to other people about their emotions and can identify with those things because they've had more experience with it, and it's been, I mean, if we're getting into the history of psychology, it's a relatively new science for us to be learning, and we've learned so much in just these last couple of decades since we've been alive. So the groundbreaking things where they're saying that Marilyn Monroe was not diagnosed with bipolarism, and if she was and had proper medication, there probably would be some more balance in her life that she was never able to have. And so now we're identifying these things as we get further in and study more and more with case studies and having people go to therapists and talking about these things and having some esteemed people writing some really important entries into like research and finding these things out about how different things affect us, whether it's just society or an individual basis. So having a movie that's able to talk about that and put it in a way that makes everybody comfortable with it, with throwing jokes in there and showing animation, it takes it to a different level that most people haven't been able to verbalize themselves, and being able to go with the whole family to be able to enjoy this session, this 2 hour session, has been groundbreaking for not just the movie industry or the box office, but in the family home.
And after the first one came out, you saw some articles from medical journals, things like that. How they were in favor of the movie because it did it enabled, or at least tried to enable kids and parents to talk on a different level. And then after Inside Out 2 premiered, the same thing, another huge amount of praise for it, because if it does get families to talk about things that normally would go unsaid or normally would go hidden or bottled up or whatever, that's a win for everybody at the end of the day. Snates, you said it, you're a middle-aged man. I'm a man. I'm 40.
I'm
Um,
40.
y- and we grew up like so many of us did. We grew up in a time where, men, boys, you know, didn't necessarily show, certain emotions, didn't
Right.
convey certain emotions. And now things are changing. It's emotions are trying to become the forefront of a lot of things. And you put it best. It's been a couple of decades. That's it, for this
Yeah.
science to take off. And, if a movie like this gets people talking and makes families more available to each other to discuss things, it's a success all the way around.
Yeah. I totally agree with
Speaking
that.
speaking of success all the way around, we're going to go with a topic but I want you to stop us if you've heard this one. There it is. Oh, stop us if you've heard this one before. The W is flying. No Cubs fans. I don't mean that one. This is
Funny.
our WNBA segment, led by none other than Funkel, of course, over there on the west side. And
Ready to
there
go.
Andy and I we're just here. We have no input on this.
Let me go over my notes here real quick.
All right.
All right, got it.
Andy, you had mentioned the All-Star break, and a couple things I wanted to touch base with you on the All-Star break. First things, and Funkel, you'll be able to at least give some input on this as you do every session of WNBA Talk. Disappointed that Caitlin Clark, your girl, did not participate in the three-point shootout at the festivities. So, Andy, we will let you defend your girl, Caitlin Clark, and go.
No, not at all. Her legs are pretty much shot right now. You can see it in the threes she's taking. She needs time off. So, not disappointed in that. Not disappointed in her not playing in the Olympics. I think the time off is well deserved, and I think it's going to be worth it. And I think we'll see more of where she left off when the games pick back up here in August.
All right, Funkel, as a a somewhat distant WNBA fan,
Mm-hmm.
were you disappointed that Caitlin Clark? Obviously, you knew she didn't, but were you disappointed that she did not participate? She was invited. She did make that clear. The one thing, all joking aside, with Caitlin Clark, listening to her talk, listening to her in the press conferences, I enjoy listening to her. I enjoy watching her when she's in these, because she just pretty much everything she says is just right. It's what you want to hear from somebody you want kids looking up to. It's what you want to hear from somebody who loves the game, who has a passion for the game, and who's all about team and winning. How many times has she said, just because how many, 13 assists means my teammates made 13 baskets off of my passes, things like that. When she set the record, didn't say much about it. There was no bragging, anything like that. But Funkel, disappointed she wasn't in the 3-point contest. Otherwise, you would have watched, obviously. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, as of 30 seconds ago, finding out that she didn't participate in the three. Why did she not? I'm disappointed now. Yeah, because that's what I would want her to do. That's what she's famous for, is doing that. And for her to go to the All-Star game, I couldn't imagine the 3-point contest without Larry Bird. That dude went out there in his warm-ups, warmed up, and walked off and won it. And that's why he's Larry Legend. I don't think Caitlin's going to be a legend if she's just walking off without throwing down a three.
Yep. So her quote,
Said
not
what I said.
was she had been playing basketball for pretty much a year straight and needed the break.
Okay.
But rebuttal, Andy, it's rebuttal time. We're getting into it. Yeah, we're opposite views.
You wouldn't want to see her do the 3-point contest?
I'm sorry?
You wouldn't want to see her do the 3-point contest?
No, I would, and I think she'll do it next year. But it's weird, man. Reading as much as I have about this league and everything that's been around a while, that I've never paid any attention to until this year. And there's the fan side, there's the business side, there's the marketing side. It's dangerously close to her blowing out a knee and the numbers just go through the floor for the entire league. It's dangerously close to that, because she brings in so much. It's not even close, attendance wise, between when Indiana plays a game versus what other teams play. all the numbers are up across the board, but it's still just it's astonishing the amount of attention she brings to it. So would it be good for the WNBA for her to have been in the 3-point contest? Absolutely. Did it hurt that somebody else won? Probably not, because it goes ahead and it brings in you know people who are watching Caitlin Clark noticing other players. I'm gonna butcher her name. Let's see. Thank God I've got the internet.
Yeah.
While he's looking that up, Alicia Bray did win the 3-point contest this year at the All-Star game.
Yeah, I think it's pronounced. So her first name's Arike Ogunbowale.
Yes.
She
Love
went
this story.
completely nuts in this game.
I was going to ask you about this.
It was, I've never seen anything like it in the NBA, WNBA. I think, and in the start of the third quarter, I don't know if she had any points. She played a few minutes in the first half. And in the third quarter, absolutely went nuts. She ended up scoring her first points in the third and ended up with 34 points.
She scored 21 in the third.
Yeah, she hit shot 50% and hit 8 of 13 3-pointers. Just completely nuts. So much so that I think Clark was 2 assists away from setting the All-Star record for assists in a game.
1 to tie, 2 to win.
And she did set the rookie record. They were going to send her back in and replace Arike with her, and she left the scorers table and went back to the bench and said, "I'm not going in. I'm going to watch this." So, that says something too, to where somebody's just in awe. Somebody who's like, everybody wants to watch rain threes is like sitting there in awe of somebody out there actually doing it. So that's kind of, it's kind of crazy. And, let's not forget that the WNBA team beat the U.S. Olympic team in that All-Star game.
Yes. And the Team USA women's last loss was to a WNBA All-Star team, 12 years ago.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, the way they do this on Olympic years is they will.
About it. I'm the one that doesn't know. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So they put in the women's national team on one side, and they play against the top vote getters who aren't on the Olympic team.
Okay.
On Team WNBA.
Okay.
And so that team with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and those guys won. So kind of the old wake up call for the national team, which I think, I think the women's national team, I don't know if it was an official Olympic game or it was the other night, housed somebody by 40 points, which should happen.
Yeah.
Not if you're the NBA. Not that we're going to spend a ton
South Sudan. Get
King
out of here
James
with that.
Saving Team USA. For those of you
in an exhibition game, they won by 1 point
over South Sudan.
South Sudan with a last-minute LeBron layup.
That's right. Team USA winning 101-100 over.
That's right, baby.
Over South Sudan, and that's
as you can see, Funko would rather be watching the WNBA than the NBA.
I was showing the W for the win from King James. But I think it was Caitlin Clark that didn't she not win the 3-point contest, right? She lost, and she lost with the 19 assists in the game, right?
Oh, she didn't right? shoot in the in the 3-point contest.
Right. Saving her legs for the game, the exhibition game, right?
For the real thing. Let's get out here. Take it to the real court.
And did I hear correctly that the coach told her to sub in and she was like, "No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sit here and watch this other person that has the streak going on. Yep. She doesn't need a breather." Right?
Nope.
So she's not coachable?
No, you can't be coachable when you're that great. You know more than the coach.
Could you all right. we're talking about greatness. Could you imagine? Phil points to Michael, tells him to get back in there, and um, let's say Will Paxton is on a tear, and Jordan's like, "No, this guy's going off. I'm just gonna go back to my seat now." You
Are
think
we
that would
talking
ever happen?
in a real game? No. In an all-star game, when the score is 170 to 160, yeah.
You think Jordan cares? That dude cares about. He's the most competitive person I've heard
Talking about
at
practice.
anywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't think he would be taking a seat for anybody.
No, he wouldn't.
Yeah, that's
Nope.
greatness.
Yeah, it is.
Boom.
It is greatness. MJ is my favorite player, my favorite athlete of all time.
Yep.
For those of you that were unaware, it looks, unless something drastic happens, there's about depending on the team, there's 14 to 16 games left in the WNBA season. It looks like both the Fever with Caitlin Clark and the Chicago Sky with Angel Reese are going to the playoffs.
The Chicago Sky will not be going to the playoffs. You heard it here first.
Oh, here we go. Where's that breaking news banner? Here we go. We got predictions. We got predictions.
I heard it. So they
I
are.
know somebody will take that back.
Let's get him on here. Let's call him up right now.
He's itching right now.
They are the 8th team right now with a record of 10-14. The Fever are one game ahead in 7th spot, 11-15. Going below them are the Atlanta Dream, who's 7-17 on an 8-game losing streak.
They've only played 25 games so far.
Yes. And then below them are the LA Sparks, who are 6-18. So the closest to the Chicago Sky at the last playoff position is 3 games back and on an 8-game losing streak. So you heard it here first. The Sky are not making it.
Nope.
Okay.
They just traded their second leading scorer away, so they're in fire sale mode. They traded her away for picks. They're rebuild mode.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see what happens. We'll be tracking this as we go through episode to episode.
You will be.
Which means more WNBA talk
Not
for
me.
Funkle. Now let's get into Funkle's wheelhouse.
What we got?
We've got round 2 of the Pondering Peeps draft.
Here we go.
Funkle, are you ready to present this week's draft topic?
No, I can never present these things. You sound so much better. So you go ahead. Just
all right.
So you're refusing to sub in.
I am not coachable.
He's uncoachable. He's uncoachable, folks.
All right. I'll step up. Okay, I'll go in, coach. All right.
Warm-ups off. Get those warm-ups off. Get in there.
I'll go ahead. So where do I
sit back down?
Sit down.
All right.
Jeff,
the Pondering Peeps draft, as we usually do, is Funkle will bring up a question, a thought-provoking question, and what we started last week is we're going to do it in a draft mode, so a snake draft mode, 2 rounds, 3 rounds, 3 rounds actually. So it will be, I will go first in this one, as I know Funkle likes to go last in the first round. And the topic this week deals with art imitating life or life imitating art. If you could take something from a fictional movie, TV show, song, or even a novel and make it real, what would it be? Great question. Again, had me thinking when I should be working.
Yes.
That's all right. I do it all for the podcast. With the first pick of the second season or second session of the Pondering Peeps draft, Travis Root is taking the time-traveling DeLorean from Back to the Future. That is my first overall pick. If I had it, I would take that. I mean, there's so many things I would do with that. Hopefully there's no butterfly effect, so I'm not ruining things in the future.
There is. You know that there is. You've seen the sequels. And please, somebody send out Back to the Future with Tom Holland. Is that true or is that fan fiction?
That's AI generated.
Okay, good. All right. Sorry, Trav.
No, you're
Just
good.
want to clear that up.
I mean, there would be things that I would do. I would go see. Well, I'd risk my life going to see it, but it'd be worth it. I would go see the Alamo probably from a distance during the
Oh, you're not
13
just gonna help out Davy Crockett right there? You're not gonna go up there and be like, "Hey, why don't you take a break? I got you, big guy."
Give me that. Give me old Betsy here.
Yeah.
On
Always
this,
a dead eye, ain't he?
him and his Tennessee volunteer. Hey, volunteers.
There we go.
Let me help you defend this man-made little open area that horses can jump right over. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. I would obviously take it back to the opening of Disneyland, or even the constructing of Disneyland, and find a way to get on the construction crew just to see Walt and walking down as Disneyland's being made. I would do something like that. I would go see.
You're going to watch construction? You can do anything in time. You're going to watch them build walls in Disneyland.
How did you?
Because Walt was there.
It's just like paradise. It's just like paradise.
Don't you ever compare me to that man on this show, or ever.
Okay, I take it back.
I would drive up, not the DeLorean, because that would be weird, but I would drive up to the gates of Graceland, and Elvis would come down like he did for so many fans. Security would be there. I would as many times as it would take. But one of the things I thought about when I picked the DeLorean was I would go back to that December in 1955, known as the $1 Million Quartet, where Carl Perkins, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Elvis Presley did an impromptu, unknown to them, recorded session at Sun Studios, and just walked in there on fate being a delivery guy, whatever, just to see that happening. That would be one of the things that immediately came to my mind when I thought. So DeLorean is my pick. Pick number 2 goes to Andy.
There you go.
Oh, it's easy. A lightsaber.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice.
No question. No question.
Ooh, which one?
Raiders?
Oh.
Boy, wasn't ready for that.
Got him.
Got him. You're quite the improver. It's got to be Darth Maul, right?
That's a cool one, but it's cool, but not very practical if you think about it. I mean, if you're fighting that guy, why not just swipe at it in the middle?
And it turns into 2. Yeah,
Boom.
Go ahead. Yeah, it works out great.
I dare you.
I dare you.
Yeah, I would probably go with Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber from his original lightsaber, because that one is kind of the one that followed the movies all the way through.
And that's the one that did the most killing of kids. So
I
see where you're going there.
Yep.
All those little tiny Jedis that could have been.
Yeah, well, they should have been better Jedi.
He was supposed to be the one.
He was the one that killing all of them.
Supposed to bring balance to the Force.
He balanced something. It wasn't the Force.
No, it sure wasn't.
All right. Andy's
what would you take, Trav? Which one of the lightsabers would you take?
Oh,
what was
Mace
the
Windu, dude, that was yes, cool. It's purple, but Mace Windu's lightsaber.
Yeah,
dude,
that's dope. Purple.
Mace Windu's lightsaber had the BMF etched in it.
Did it really?
Dude, I heard a story about that.
The prop department put it in there.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, then that solves it right there. That's
he's got it. Samuel L. Jackson has it.
Yeah, the BMF lightsaber.
Yep.
Funko, what lightsaber would you take before you give us your first round pick?
Yeah, smart ass.
I would go with Darth Maul's, man. That or the red one from Adam Driver, but he was such a sissy. Can we say that?
Yes.
I was going to use a different. What?
He was swole.
No, he had man boobs. That did not look swole at all. He had a very unusual, and he has Fort Wayne ties. He has very unusual body type.
Are you body shaming right now?
No, I'm body observing.
We don't.
It was an odd shape, and it did not look like pectoral muscles. It just I don't know. I don't know if they're real, man.
They called him in the world of Star Wars. They call him Ben Swolo.
Oh, really?
What in the
They
world?
Oh, gross. Drink that blue milk, you sicko.
We want fans. It doesn't matter. We just want fans to listen. It doesn't matter who you are, things like that.
Yeah.
We love you all.
Right.
And now for the last pick of round one.
That being said, I'm taking Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade, the Holy Grail, the Fountain of Youth.
Woo!
You
That's
chose
what I'm taking.
poorly.
No, I chose wisely. They chose poorly. I chose wisely. Yeah, to be able to have eternal life and be forever young, that'd be great. Forever young. So that's what I would go with. Is the Holy Grail and a relic of Jesus Christ himself. But Dad, I'm Jesus Christ.
Big fan of the Lord.
You know it. We ain't recording on Sunday because that's the day off.
Wow.
Okay, so I got a turnaround, right?
Yeah.
That's a solid first round, man. That is awesome. The
That's
DeLorean,
pretty good.
lightsaber, and the Holy Grail. Wow.
Knocks them out.
Yeah.
So
Your pick, round two.
with me turn around, since you already grabbed the cool time traveling machine of a DeLorean, I guess I'll just hop into the phone booth with Rufus, George Carlin, and go Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and the phone booth time traveler.
Nice.
That's what I'm going to go to. And I'm going to go and pick up Socrates and we'll talk about psychology. We'll talk about philosophy. We'll get Billy the Kid, Mr. the Kid.
Yeah.
To
Mr. the
Mr. the Kid.
Yeah.
Billy, middle name the last name Kid. Well done. BTK.
So yeah, that's what I'd be doing. And San Dimas high school football rules.
What walls or construction project would you go watch?
The great one that you can see from space.
Gretzky's house.
Yes.
Well done. Well done. Good pick.
I don't have to go far. I don't need a phone booth for that.
No, good job.
When you said, or actually, I'll talk at the end of the draft about what I thought you were going with. Andy,
Okay.
your
All right.
round
Good.
two pick.
Number 2.
Well, I'm going to stay away from time machines. It sounds like you guys got those covered.
We got them covered. You can hitch a ride.
I'm going to go with, how about Mjolnir?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yes.
Thor's hammer.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
that's
I
cool.
could,
You
I
couldn't
could
pick
get
it
some
up.
stuff done. I could fly.
You
I
ain't
could
picking
summon a light.
it up, homie.
Wow.
No.
You're not worthy.
You're not worthy, man. You ain't Thor. You ain't Captain.
I am worthy. You bring that hammer here and we'll have a contest. Right now.
Oh man. You imagine the group, me, you, Andy,
Yeah.
Ort, Daga, Mark.
Yep. What a time to be had. Seeing who can pick up whose hammer. Hmm?
No.
You're worthy.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I soiled it. Yeah, Thor's
I
hammer.
don't
That's
like
good.
this. Who's next?
Good.
I don't like this. I'm uncomfortable. I'm upset.
Mjolnir, that was on my list, so I've got to cross that one off. But
Yeah, you do, because it's
I
mine.
love that scene on the Avengers when when Thor's face,
Yeah.
when Captain
It's so
America,
good.
yep, when it moves.
What a great moment. That's such a great movie. Is Endgame. It's like a perfect movie to me.
Yeah, no, it really is when in Ultron when they're trying to pick that up.
Mm-hmm.
And it just barely moves. The only person it moves for hardly at all is Cap.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the payoff to that in Endgame when he's like, I knew it.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that.
Giving me goosebumps just thinking about it.
Dude, that's my that's top 2 all-time theater experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, is being in a packed house. I was in Las Vegas when I saw that.
Oh wow, nice.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's great.
To round out round 2 for me,
Yeah.
it would be Aladdin's lamp, the genie.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Obviously, 3 wishes, no wishing for more wishes. Thank you, genie.
Yep.
But yeah, that would just be awesome. I mean, there'd be, I don't even know. Obviously, money.
Well,
But
yeah. First one. Let's go watch that construction back in 1955.
hey, could I go back to
You mind?
55 and look at some walls, please? Even the genie's going, what?
I saw, because the internet is the internet,
Uh-huh.
I saw a meme the other day that had a picture of, or maybe it was a GIF of
Okay.
some dude starting to cry,
Uh-huh.
and it said, "The genie, when hearing that my first wish is to triple world hunger."
Oh.
You never hear anything like that. The picture was of a guy starting to cry. And
So this is my turd burger face.
but I mean, think about it. If
No,
you posed that question,
I'm
can you imagine the look on the it was a perfect
genie.
meme. The look on the
Yeah.
genie's face, because
Uh-huh.
everybody wishes for good stuff. Nobody
Yeah.
ever wishes for something like that.
Yeah, it's a Thanos glove situation there.
It is.
man.
Wow. That's wild. Mm-mm.
If I had that first wish, well, first of all, I want to say it took 7 episodes before Andy showed his sense of humor
Your side.
sometimes. Oh.
It wasn't my wish. I'm just relaying what happened. It was
It
relative.
made you laugh.
It
Yeah.
did make me laugh.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it would be, I
Feel
wonder,
hate.
I would just
You
go to the genie and say straight
Yep.
cash on him and see what would
Yep.
happen. I mean, that would be one of the wishes. But yeah, that was an easy one. But I was
What's
worried you
another
guys
one?
would
So you
take
get
the
money. What else
Yeah.
you getting? Got money.
I was worried you guys would take the DeLorean, so I had to choose that one first.
No, he wants
Good
to know what
choice.
your other wishes are.
Yeah, your other wishes, Holmes.
Um,
Yeah, you're getting cash right out the gate. All right. That means
You
you're
took money.
materialistic.
You went
Okay.
completely selfish with the first one.
For
Right.
sure.
now it's time to shower the love.
Okay.
I'm gonna be the anti-Andy. I would end world hunger.
I
Ah.
wasn't. That wasn't my wish. I'm just relaying what it said.
Yeah, that's true.
You're all
But we can end world hunger. Eat some veggies.
or acai bowls.
Acai bowls, baby. The world would be a better place. Let me tell you.
Isn't a lot of like where world hunger is like just unfarmable dirt?
Well, definitely in Africa. But yeah, a lot of the world hunger is based on poverty level for a lot of places as
Yeah.
well. And so we live in a country. We don't need to get. We're having fun here. Get out of here. We don't need to talk about this.
And that's
so
why
you get
world
money.
hunger will triple because people don't want to talk
Yeah.
about it. Great.
Yeah. Give me that lamp back.
You old bag.
Yo, give
right,
me
so
that
we're-
marble rye.
All right, so we've cured world. We've solved world hunger. You're
Yep.
rich. What
Yep.
else?
What else?
Well, I've got my DeLorean, so I don't have to worry about going that.
Yeah.
And then selfishly,
Again.
man,
Again.
selfishly times 2. Man, this is going to be a serious one.
Oh, no, that might be
I'd
why.
wish to hang out with my grandfather again. My grandpa Rudy. I would wish to see him again and hear him laugh and have him take me out to barbecue, because that was one of my favorite experiences. All going to Texas all the time was just hanging out with grandpa. So
Well, since you have the time machine, you could do that without burning a wish on it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Yep.
Absolutely correct.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
all
all
these are well thought out for you fans out there.
Yes. Yes.
Nope, that's 3 now.
That third wish. I wish that third wish. I wish Andy wasn't here.
Damn you. Again, time machine. You can take care of that.
Super
Are you
strength.
sure you want that lamp? I mean, the time machine can take.
Flying. Yes. Flying.
Yeah. There you go.
All
All right.
right.
Yep.
After all that.
Good job. Yeah. And boy, your arm's tired. They nailed it.
All right. So how many picks is this draft? 3?
Just 3.
So
Yep,
okay.
three.
Finishing up.
Yep.
First pick around 3. Last one for me. The cloak of invisibility from Harry Potter. I think that would just be cool. Throw that cloak around. Boom. Punch Ort. He'd never know.
Yeah.
And it would be a conspiracy.
That's so cool.
Yep. The government.
Yeah, the government did it.
Yep.
That's it.
All right.
That's what I'm gonna end my
Cloak of
description. I would punch
invisibility.
Ort.
Yeah. What a man. You know,
That should have been your third wish.
Completely redeem yourself. Should have been your third wish.
You fans, when you guys are listening to this, I want to know your thoughts when he's actually on the show. I just want to know if you guys understand just from a little snippet. Andy,
Just a little bit.
Email the show and let us know if you have a friend you'd want to punch in the face.
Yep. You would find him.
Every group should have one.
Yeah.
Andy, your final pick.
Oh, Jake mentioned it a little bit earlier.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
What was it?
The
What was it?
Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh,
Yes.
see? I knew it. I knew it.
Yep. The Infinity Gauntlet. Think about it. I've got a time machine in it
Uh-huh.
with
Yep.
the time stone.
Right.
I'm all powerful with the power stone.
Yeah.
The mind stone.
Mhm.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. You got them all. You got all the stones in there, or do you still have to collect?
No,
He did say the gauntlet. He didn't
Gauntlet.
say the stones.
Right.
Well, it's not the Infinity Gauntlet till it has the stones. It's just a gauntlet.
Oh, it's just a glove.
Yeah, just a glove. Give him the glove.
Give him the glove.
What happens when your hand gets chopped off by?
I'm not gonna snap my fingers. I'm
Well-
just gonna use them individually.
You
Just
you can snap your fingers about anything, but it's what you want to do with that snap, right?
Right. But it takes all the power. I mean, it takes a
Yeah.
bunch of power. You're gonna pay for it. So I'm just gonna probably mosey around. I might pull up a lawn chair next to Travis
Bunch of-
watching Disney World being built.
There you go. Just a bunch
You know?
of ride-ons. Hey, you're doing great.
Use the
more
power
the
stone.
merrier.
Use the power stone to lay out Ort.
All right, everybody gets to punch Ort. This sounds like that's
Such life
Yeah.
imitating art ever.
oh my gosh, what a world that would be. What a
That should be my third wish. Andy, you're right. Everybody in the world gets to punch Ort.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, a freebie. Like he's just walking down the street minding his own business.
mind his own
Somebody
damn
checks it.
business and gets clocked.
Wow.
You don't know when it's coming.
No.
It's almost like he's walking in the Matrix and everybody turns into a Mr. Smith.
Yep. Yep.
Just I just turn into a punch right into his face. You don't know where it's coming.
No.
And along those lines, my third pick is, you guys are gonna love this because this is redemption for me.
All
is
right.
the Iron Man suit.
Hey, full circle.
Wow. Holy cow.
Not the Rocketeer suit,
No.
the Iron
no.
Man suit.
Just when you thought you'd seen it, you haven't.
You have it.
Man.
And then straight flying to punch Ort in the face.
Wow. Wow.
Jarvis, make that happen.
Already on it, sir.
Oh,
you.
my goodness. What a, I mean, that's years in the making.
Oh my gosh, what a day! What a day! Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
This is
holy smokes.
It's almost like I had my time machine already and just did it for this moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man. Oh, I love the book ending there.
Yeah.
Well
What
done.
what a draft, guys.
No,
We're
you're
gonna have
right.
a good time.
Bravo to all of you.
Yeah. And all the fans can come up with their own, but
Yeah.
we did pretty
Send them
good.
in.
Yeah.
Comment on the channel. Comment on YouTube what you guys would make a reality from fiction. Any honorable mentions, real quick. No explanations needed. Anything that came to mind.
Yeah, I thought about Excalibur, but that seemed like a lot of work to be king, you know? I didn't
Yeah.
wanna
I don't need all that.
Trust me,
Nah.
it's a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah. Trav knows. Yes, he's standing alone atop of us two noobs down here.
I thought about the hoverboard.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Yep.
Yeah. I thought about the Zemeckis cube, but if I'm already doing the time machine thing, I could just go back 30 seconds on my own. It sounds like a lot of work though. But
Yeah.
about anything from Ready Player One would be dope to turn into a reality.
Good call.
Yeah. Did you think of anything else did anybody steal anything? The DeLorean. I'm sure you wanted the DeLorean. We all wanted the DeLorean.
That was going to be first pick of anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was going to be
Best.
mine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Good
What do
calls.
you have, Andy? Anything?
I don't know. I just went 3. I'm sure there's other stuff that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind taking a spin in the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, yeah. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Man.
You've done the closest thing to it at Disney World. You
Did you?
Yes.
Yep. All right, so that's the Pondering Peeps draft. The second time we've done that, and man, this was fun. This was
A
fun.
lot of fun.
We're gonna wrap it up as we always do.
But
with-
before we do,
Uh-oh.
I want to go ahead and ask and possibly try something on the fly, which is usually ill-advised.
Okay.
Thoughts on? I wanted to get thoughts. I don't know if Travis has seen it, but I know Snakes has.
What?
Trailer for Joker.
Oh. Yeah, I stopped watching the trailers because I saw the first one and I know I'm going to see it, so I don't need to watch anymore.
The one
Oh,
the one you sent, I watched it in our group chat. The one you sent to
yeah.
And the only thing that went in my head because now your theory behind it
Right? Mm-hmm.
is in my head, Andy. So I watched it with that in the back of my mind, and I don't know if I talked myself into it or as I'm watching it, Andy, your thought behind it, and I'm like, I could see
It could be. It could work.
Could be.
but I love. I'll just say the lighting or the atmosphere of that trailer. I mean, just the lighting behind it.
Yeah.
Just seems amazing. Excited for it. Not Deadpool Wolverine excited, but very excited for the movie.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see what where it does because it's a big risk.
Yeah, I would love to see them like lean into the thought of that, like we were talking about before, where leave it for the audience to be able to decide and just keep it ambiguous as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see them
Yeah.
doing something like that because, like
Yep.
I said, they did that with the first one to keep it.
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
all-
which is the only reason it makes me think maybe they don't do it here.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything that leads me to believe that it couldn't happen. Which the thing is that Harley is a figment of his imagination.
Right.
That's the theory.
Yeah.
Yep, that we reference.
We shall see. But yeah, I'm done watching trailers for that unless it's in a movie and I'm actually on time instead of 20 minutes late to miss trailers on purpose.
Oh,
But I did see a trailer in Wolverine and Deadpool of Captain America coming out in February.
yeah.
Yes. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hold on.
Oh,
Your
Hold on.
boy Harrison's in there.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we don't have to get to this final segment yet. We have a podcast. We can talk as long as we want. Funkle
It looks like he does not think Marvel is back after Deadpool.
No.
Oh no!
February release. That's a cemetery of release parties, man.
Oh my God!
Wow. He's
What do
coming
you
out.
hate?
I don't think it's going to do very well at all.
And the
I don't-
reason?
It looks convoluted. It doesn't look like it's going to be a good storyline.
There
Harrison
was
Ford.
reportedly some big reshoots.
I believe it. Yeah, it doesn't look iconic at all. So, and I never liked that dude as an actor.
Anthony
Um,
Mackie,
Harrison
Clarence.
Ford.
Yeah, never been a fan of him. Clarence. His real name is Clarence in 8 Mile.
Yep.
Papa Doc.
They are
No, thank you.
trying. That's a great topic for probably even the next episode.
Yeah,
Is
because you'll see the trailer.
I-
what are their
I think I
next?
saw the one that they did it end with Red Hulk
Yeah. Yep.
hit the shield into the ground.
Yep.
So that's a great topic. Is where does Marvel go? Obviously, they had a tremendous amount of success with Iron Man, the Captain America movies, Thor up until the last couple that didn't do as hot, but tremendous run. Obviously, with all the Avengers, and then where does it go? And that we can talk about next episode. But what characters need to be introduced? If you had a choice, things like that, because it is a good question to start to wonder where do they go to maintain the juggernaut that for the longest time was the Avengers series.
Well, I think Jake's probably got the biggest insight into that, having seen Deadpool. I'm guessing that they played around in that as to where they're going.
No, I'm not gonna say anything. That's spoiler territory. No, thank
Yeah,
you.
you don't-
But no, I'm saying that you of the three of us know.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's what they're doing because they involve the time variance authority, which can go ahead and the whole multiverse thing. And then I'll tell you where they're going. I mean, the is Fantastic Four, which was originally uh, I think a Sony Marvel property, and they're actually doing that one as kind of a period piece, like in the '60s.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I
and
hope
then-
it's a good one.
And,
The
and then
Fantastic-
of course, Disney or Marvel Studios owns the X-Men now, so that'll get rebooted. I'd be shocked if Deadpool doesn't show some kind of payoff into that. But yeah, they got to quit trying to mine the third and fourth tier characters. That's what's happened. And if part of me agrees with Jake on the fact that billing Captain America in there, even though in the comics there's precedent. I mean, there's been more than one person that's held
Yeah.
Captain America,
Yep.
who's been Captain America.
Yeah.
But I mean, Chris Evans had a really good feel for that character, and so I mean, this next version, I mean, it's going to see of the Marvel TV shows that I've seen, Falcon and Winter Soldier was my least favorite, and that's where the new Captain America was
Yep.
born in
Mhm.
that show, and I think it was more the writing in the show, but yeah, we'll see.
Do you think
brought
Chris
it up.
Evans would come back
Um,
with a big enough dangle, big enough carrot?
yeah, I don't think anybody says no anymore, right? For the right amount of money.
Rumors are that Christian Bale said no to a big penny for Batman, and that's why they went with Robert Pattinson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That always seemed to me though like it was kind of a package deal with him and Christopher Nolan, though.
Yeah, I would think so.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I could see Christian Bale doing that, just walking away for.
Yeah.
He seems like that kind of guy that if he's
That
not
kind
into
of
the
actor.
script,
Yeah.
that he just like, I don't care what, I don't need the money, I just don't want to do it. I could
Right.
see something like, yeah, I don't know, actors like him and like Daniel Day-Lewis, and who I'd love for him to come out of retirement.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of Disney minimizing the amount of stuff they put out for their flagship series, but I also like the idea of them being able to toy around with it on Disney Plus. This
Mm.
Captain America movie, it's going to be a big gamble. But like you said, Andy, third and fourth tier characters, obviously another iteration of Captain America. But I hope Fantastic Four is good. I feel like they deserve a good movie. I was never a fan of any of the versions that came out. You know, it. I watched them, but just never was interested in them. So I'm hoping this series uh, does it justice.
Yeah.
And we're moving on to the final topic, as we do every week, of where we wrap up with, and it's time for everybody's favorite. It's
It is
your
time.
playlist sucks. You can borrow
Mhm.
ours. For those of you that have been following the podcast, we have been adding to Spotify and Apple Music uh, this playlist, and you can follow the playlist. You can comment on it on the YouTube channel, things like that. What you thought. We'd love to hear your guys' feedback on some of the songs. I know we had a comment two episodes ago about the actual playlist. So it's fun. It's getting traction, and
Good.
it's just fun to listen to some of the music from other people.
Yep.
As always, we're going to leave it up to the man behind the idea to choose who goes first. Funkle, assign it, man. Who goes first?
Um, Trav, you haven't started many things, so it's up to you, homie. You lead us off.
All right.
Take us
Mine,
back to that wall.
the fourth wall. Mine, you'll be surprised, is another oldie. Shocking, I know.
Yep.
But it reminds me, for me, music. I did a training session on audio video at our work, and one of the things I said was, music elicits memories. But for me, there's something to a song that just pops in your head when you say the most innocent thing. So I was talking to my wife, and I was being dumb on the phone, as I usually am, and I was laughing, and I said something to the effect of, "Don't hang up, please," or "Please don't hang up," or whatever. And in just a flash, the 1962 song by the Orleans called "Don't Hang Up" came into my mind.
Mm.
And I remember hearing that on the oldies station growing up, and it had gone out of my mind for a while, but went and found it on Apple Music, and I have been looking on Discogs for the
Oh.
45 of it, because dude, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. The Orleans were a majority female group with a single male voice. And it was just in that time of doo-wop, and it was just, early R&B, and just the harmonies and the fun they had with the song. If you haven't listened to it, are you guys familiar with it?
I don't think so.
I don't believe so either.
Okay.
I thought when you were talking about not hanging up, I was thinking that you were going back to the 90s and saying, please don't go. Please
Please
don't
don't
go. I'm begging you to stay. Hey.
I went
That old classic.
earlier. But yeah, so listen to it. It'll be on Spotify. It'll be on Apple Music. Again, it's called "Don't Hang Up" by the Orleans, and
Okay.
that's mine.
Good pick. Rude.
I'm going to go with a song from 1996
Oh,
called Not an Addict by Kay's Choice.
I remember Kay's Choice.
Yeah.
I haven't
The
heard
band?
that title in quite some time.
Yeah.
I've got
So,
I had that CD and I remember that song.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah. It's a song about, sung from the point of view of an addict, and just kind of, gives you a little glimpse into the mindset of somebody who's, in denial that they have a problem and whatnot, but it's it's just it's a great song about a depressing subject.
Yeah, I would
So,
think so.
yeah,
Yeah, man, that blows me away. Case Choice. I haven't heard that name of a band in so long, and I'm picturing the album cover
I can
right
see it now.
now.
It's almost Picasso-esque.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to going back and diving into that album and listening to that again. That'll probably bring up some memories as well.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
Uh,
What do you
Good
got?
pick. So you guys keep going in the DeLorean, and I'm staying right here in the present. There's a new single that just came out, and a band that's getting a lot of traction from doing a cover of a Cranberries song, "Linger." And the band is called Royal Otis. And the song that I'm picking has an 80s new wave feel to it, with a bass line that comes in pretty early, but he has a distinct voice, and it's called Knack Nostalgia. NACK, Knack, Nostalgia. And it's got an old timey feel to it, but it was a single that was just released not too long ago in 2024. So maybe even a month ago. But it's a good throwback, and I already put it on the playlist on Spotify.
I'm seeing it.
Yeah, I threw it up there. And I hope you guys listen to it and enjoy it like I do, because, like I said, it's a throwback. You guys are having all the fun with grabbing the classics. I got to keep a little up to date for some of the youngins out there that are listening.
Right on.
I'm going to go ahead and continue classics, just so you guys all know. I'll just go ahead and spoil it for my picks from here
gonna-
until who knows.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and jump around a little bit. I think I got some
Yeah.
stuff from the '60s. I got some
Ah,
stuff from
House
the
of Pain.
'90s. I need to get.
House of Pain. Mhm.
Yep. Good call.
Um,
Well,
yeah, and I'll try to keep it current for grandpas over here.
as always, folks, it's time to say goodbye. It's time to thank you all. You can see how much fun we have. You can see the laughter and just hanging out and punching Ort in the face brings to the three of us while we're here.
Joy.
Pure joy. It means the world to us. But we love the interaction. Please subscribe, like the channel, comment, make sure to hit the bell.
Ding, ding.
And
We have a bell.
we didn't get one. The production budget is
You have
unlimited.
no Bell prize.
Oh God.
Do you know who Noble was?
Inventor of dynamite.
That's right. And he created something that brought peace into the world to counterbalance that invention that he always regretted. How about that?
Okay.
Learning something all the way to the end, folks.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
all the
kind of
way
like you and the Iron Man suit pick.
Look at that.
Yeah.
The world is getting balanced, y'all.
Full
Full
circle.
circle.
We love doing this. And thank you guys as always for listening. Make sure to, like I said, like, subscribe. The Facebook page is up, Instagram is up. So we're getting there. It's just taking us old men a little bit longer. You'll start to see the audio versions of the podcast fully available on wherever you get your podcast from. But it's been fun. Closing thoughts. Funkel, we'll go to you. Closing thoughts.
Use your turn signal. Don't be a driver liar.
Wow. Don't be a driver liar. All right. Andy, we're going on to you. Is it going to be the same, or are we changing it up?
No, this week we're going to switch it up to a bit and put your shopping carts away.
Yeah.
There it is. Different. We hope you enjoyed it. We enjoyed making it. We'll see you next week.